treasures are laid up somewhere beyond the blue. The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, then Lord, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. I have a loving mother over in the glory land. I don't expect to stop until I shake her hand. She's waiting now for me in heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, then Lord, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Just over in glory land, we'll live eternally. The saints on every hand are shouting victory. Their songs of sweetest praise drift back from heaven's shore, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, then Lord, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. No, I can't feel at home in this world anymore.
Good evening. Welcome to Empty Cross Ministries Daily Devotional, which has not been so daily lately, and I apologize for that. I have been working on some technical issues, and I think we finally got those resolved. Last time we left off with Joseph with Potiphar's wife, and if you recall, she wrongly accused him of basically raping her, and Potiphar threw him in prison. Well, now we come to Genesis chapter 40, verses 1 through 23. Excuse me. A little bit under the weather here. Voice is kind of crackling a little bit, and got a little bit of a cough, and it's raining outside. But back to this. And we're going to get into, remember the story of the cupbearer and the baker after Joseph was thrown into prison. The account here is in Genesis chapter 40, verses 1 through 23. I'm getting fog-headed too. Okay. Sometime later, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt offended their master, the king of Egypt. Pharaoh was angry with his two officials, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker, and put them in custody in the house of the captain of the guard, in the same prison where Joseph was confined. The captain of the guard assigned them to Joseph, and he attended them. After they had been in custody for some time, each of the two men, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt, who were being held in prison, had a dream the same night, and each dream had a meaning of its own. When Joseph came to them the next morning, he saw that they were dejected. So he asked Pharaoh's officials who were in custody with him in his master's house, "Why are your faces so sad today?" "We both had a dream," they answered, "but there was no one to interpret them." Then Joseph said to them, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me your dreams." So the chief cupbearer told Joseph his dream. He said to him, "In my dream, I saw a vine in front of me, and on the vine were 3 branches. As soon as it budded, it blossomed It blossomed, and its clusters ripened into grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, squeezed them into Pharaoh's cup, and put the cup in his hand. This is what it means, Joseph said to him. The 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your position, and you will put Pharaoh's cup in his hand, just as you used to do when you were his cupbearer. But when all goes well with you, remember me and show kindness. Mention me to Pharaoh and get me out of this prison. For I was forcibly carried off from the land of the Hebrews, and even here I have done nothing to deserve being put in a dungeon. When the chief baker saw that Joseph had given a favorable interpretation, he said to Joseph, I too had a dream. On my head were 3 baskets of bread. In the top basket were all kinds of baked goods for Pharaoh, but the birds were eating them out of the basket on my head. This is what it means, Joseph said. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift off your head and hang you on a tree, and the birds will eat away your flesh. Now the 3rd day was Pharaoh's birthday, and he gave a feast for all his officials. He lifted up the heads of the chief cupbearer and the chief baker in the presence of his officials. He restored the chief cupbearer to his position, so that once again he put the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, just as Joseph had said to them in his interpretation. The chief cupbearer, however, did not remember Joseph. He forgot him. God again uses dreams to speak to Joseph about what lies in store for the future. Although the dreams of the cupbearer and the baker don't directly involve Joseph, God uses the fulfillment of the prophecies in these dreams to show Joseph that indeed God has given him the gift of interpreting dreams. Just as God brings about the events Joseph predicted for his fellow prisoners, God will in the same way bring about the future predicted in Joseph's own dreams. The cupbearer, seemingly Joseph's ticket out of heaven, or out of prison. Let me say that again, get it right. The cupbearer, seemingly Joseph's ticket out of prison, lets him down by promptly forgetting Joseph once released. God, however, does not forget him. God's dream for Joseph stays alive and well. Though things look dim in the confines of the dungeon, God's plan will prove unbounded. What situation in your life is looking grim today? How can you look at your situation through God's eyes?
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, we have already come. 'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead us home. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved